literally one right here. So I recently saw The Invisible Man. That's right, The Invisible Man. The original 1933 version. And it's also an adaptation of a novel by H.G. Wells of the same title, The Invisible Man. So obviously this movie is very dated. I just wanted to see it because I don't think I've ever seen it before. Actually, I don't think I've ever seen any of the well, with the exception of maybe like Nosferatu and Frankenstein. But other than that, I haven't seen any of the other classic monster movies. At least not to my recollection. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe I did when I was a kid and they were just playing on TV in the background or something. But obviously back then I didn't pay much attention. So anyways, the basic story of this is there's this doctor, I guess technically scientist, this guy, Jack Griffin, and one day while he's doing some research and experimenting, he stumbles upon, I guess accidentally creates this potion of sorts that can turn human beings invisible. And of course in the movie it's not exactly explained, I mean, how this process works. I do believe in the novel there is some kind of explanation of it. But as far as the movie goes, I mean, the way it starts, it just shows this guy, of course, after he's already been made invisible, and he's wrapped in these rags, and he's walking through this snowstorm, and comes upon this bar/inn, and he sees the barkeep and his wife, and he tells them that he wants a room, and then they tell him that they don't really have any rooms available, and then he pretty much like demands that they make a room available. And I guess it just happened that they did have one room available, but it wasn't not like an actual part of their inn, but like I guess you could say like an upstairs studio loft kind of thing. And I'm not sure if that's what they called them back then, but that's pretty much what it was. So they set him up in there, and then he tells them that he doesn't want to be disturbed because he's trying to find an antidote so that he can make himself visible again. And then throughout all this, eventually, like, of course, he tells the innkeeper guy and his wife that not to disturb him, but of course they keep disturbing him. So it makes it hard for him to find an antidote, and he's not able to, and then eventually he pretty much goes insane because one of the side effects of the potion he took is that you end up losing your mind, and which I always found that part of the story of the Invisible Man, I always found that to be interesting. I don't know if like when H.G. Wells wrote it, like he just like came to the conclusion somehow that he believed that, if someone is made invisible and they can't see themselves, they can't see their own physical form, I guess, for a certain amount of time, eventually they somehow go insane. Which I guess it does kind of make sense. Except, I mean, I don't know, I guess I just find it interesting because, it makes me try to imagine, like, if I were in the same position, like, if that were me, and I were made invisible, permanently invisible, or even just invisible, if I were invisible for you know, like more than a couple weeks, couple months. I guess it's fair to say that I might also go insane. But anyway, so in the movie, you know, this guy, after he starts going insane, then he starts terrorizing this small town, and that's where those are the parts of the movie that I found kind of ridiculous and cheesy. I mean, even though I know, obviously, I'm aware that back then they didn't have access to all of the CGI stuff that they do today, and but in the movie, like, it shows him like he's supposed to be carrying some stuff, like if he's carrying some books, and of course you can tell the books are dangling on some kind of wire or something, and you know, you can't always see the wire, but like they'll show the books moving through midair, but at the same time they're spinning around a little bit, and so like, you know, I couldn't help but make a joke about it out loud, and to me it just seemed ridiculous, because, you know, I was like, oh, apparently, you know, when you're invisible and you carry stuff, you know, you can't help but spin everything that you carry, like. I don't know. I found most of it to be pretty funny. Even most of the acting isn't that great. Most of it is like way too over the top. Like there's a bunch of different scenes where the innkeeper's wife, she screams like at the top of her lungs for no reason. Or she like jumps up on a table and like holds her dress or whatever, holds her dress down. I don't even know what she was doing. Like, she was freaking out, and she didn't know whether or not she should hold her dress up or hold it down, or I don't know. But she was acting like if the Invisible Man was some kind of mouse running around or something, like. But yeah, I mean, and then, you know, ultimately what happens, I don't know, I think in the majority of these classic monster movies, most of them end up dying or being killed in some way, so, you know, I guess, I mean, I don't want to spoil the end for anybody who hasn't seen this, but I'm sure that you can make a fair and easy guess, like, you know, eventually the local police, they just all charge after the Invisible Man and surround him, and even though, like, he toys around, he messes with them too for a while, but then eventually they kind of catch him off guard, and so I mean, I don't know, I guess maybe if I had been alive during the 30s and I saw this movie for the first time, I probably would have thought it was like one of the best movies I'd ever seen. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what people back then thought too. So, you know, obviously I gotta give it some kind of credit for that, just for being the first of its kind, or at least one of the first of its kind. So, yeah. As far as the rating goes, I guess I would give it like an 8 out of 10. So, yeah. I'd also, a while ago, I had come across some rumors that supposedly Universal, they plan on doing a remake of this. Even though I know they already did like a remake of that Mummy thing. There was that terrible Mummy movie that they did, the remake with Tom Cruise, and yeah, I don't know. And supposedly I'd also read some stuff about that Johnny Depp, that it's a very real possibility Johnny Depp might be in the remake of The Invisible Man. So, but I don't know, you know, it's hard to tell what's fact or fiction nowadays, you know, as far as the internet is concerned. So, but you know, I'd like to see that. I'd like to see Johnny Depp, you know, in a remake of The Invisible Man. So, I don't know, maybe I'm alone on that, but yeah, either way, I give this, The Invisible Man, the original 1933 version, I give it 8 out of 10. So that'll do it for my review. Thanks for watching. And as always, so next time, don't forget, keep it real, keep on rocking, and peace.